Welcome, everybody, back to the Find Your Leadership Confidence Summit. I'm Vicki Netling, and hope you had a great little dinner break there or afternoon break. I am so excited to have our next guest today, and that is going to be Timmy Gallagher. And let me tell you a little bit about Timmy. So, Timmy says coaching has evolved for him as a calling to be of service to others in their evolution of performance and leadership. His wisdom and experience of over 30 years in law enforcement, corporate, government, education, not-for-profit, spirituality, endurance athletics, and coaching certification allow him to be agile and present in his coaching conversations. Coaching is to be a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires you to maximize your personal and professional potential. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Timmy Gallagher. Hey, Timmy.
Hi, Vicki. Good to see you. Thank you so
You
much
as
for having me on
well.
your program. This is excellent.
So I see, what do we have? A hat that has what symbol on there?
It's Brown University, where I went up for my
Brown
coaching.
University. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So as we all have been doing all day, please tell everybody what part of the country you call home.
So New Jersey, but southern New Jersey. I'm about 10 minutes from Philadelphia. Yes, we're still a little vulnerable from the Super Bowl. So East Coast.
Yes, awesome. So how did you become a performance and leadership coach?
Simple answer is someone knocked on my door. A guy I worked with came to me one day and he said he was looking to get to the next level in his life. And he spoke with a lot of life coaches, leadership coaches, folks like that. And he said none of them resonated with him. And how did he put it? I see what you do. I hear what you say. I want what you have. So would you coach me? Which I wasn't like a coach, performance leadership coach. I've had a lot of experiences in my life where I was coach-like, or certainly coaching with athletics and coach-like leader in my positions. But so we gave this a shot and it kept evolving, thus evolute well. And I know a C-suite coach, very well regarded, and ran it by him. Like, what do you think? And he said, yeah, I can see it. Sometimes we need that, someone that can give us that imprimatur of like, yeah, that'll play. And then I looked for places to go to get my certification, and I ended up at Brown. Then I ended up with Positive Intelligence for the mental fitness aspect, and it's been evolving since then. And here we are today.
That is so true. So what makes your coaching unique and different from the other guy?
Coaching is a very personal conversation. I was listening to you before I hopped on. Loved hearing you about conversation. And you have to have the right connection for a coaching conversation. I'll say it right now, I am not the coach for everybody. I'm the coach for those that truly are willing to be vulnerable, do the work, and that align with what I'm offering, which is, in particular, your brain left on default is looking for what is wrong. And frankly, it's out of shape. It's lazy and looking for what's wrong versus what is not so much what is right, what is possible. So it's coaching just like any other ICF coaching would offer, but with mental fitness, and add the whole background of what you read, everything I've done. So that's the package. And if it works, great. If not, love to recommend you to another coach or one of my Brown classmates.
So in your time as a law enforcement officer, how do you take, I guess, just all of these different aspects of what you did to be able to be better at what you do today?
It's a good question. So, and it's timely with what's going on in our society and the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a proper law enforcement officer is there to serve and protect, as it says on a lot of the car doors.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're seeing in today's society is where the public is saying, I don't think you're serving and protecting. And they have a point. So you have to know who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. That translates right over into coaching. I think you can see that of what are you doing and why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Yeah.
there for you? Or are you there for others? Is it the me or is it the we? So what I saw in law enforcement was a microcosm of this larger macrocosm of how people evolve and get to the next
Mm-hmm.
level. And so, as crazy as it may sound, I think law enforcement was a great entree into the idea of coaching.
Yeah, for sure. The the brain is an interesting thing. And so how does it affect performance and leadership from a positive aspect, but also a negative side? You know, we talked a lot about mindset today.
Yeah. So everything that is coming at you is some type of stimuli. And
Right.
the default, and a lot of people know this, but it's basically your limbic system, which is deep in the brain. It's really that primal type system
Mm-hmm.
that we have and a lot of other species have. That is the part of our brain that keeps the species surviving. So there's 5 F's: fight, flight, freeze, right?
Mm.
And then feed, we need to eat, and then fornicate. That's how you got here and I got here and how my
Mm-hmm.
kids got here.
Yeah.
And that part of your brain, depending on which study you read, Vicki, is 3 to 5 times stronger than your more human part of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your right brain, your prefrontal cortex. So know that what is coming at you by default is filtered through that fight, flight, freeze.
Yeah.
Since that part of your brain is 5 times stronger than the other part of your brain, the more human part of your brain or your thrive part of your brain, if that part of your brain can do 500 push-ups, fitness wise, shall we say, you
Mm.
need to be able to do at least 501
Yeah.
to be stronger than that part of your brain. And that is exactly what we do in coaching and in mental fitness. We work on helping you move from that react
Mm.
to respond. And when you get really good at it, like a Jedi, choice. Because when we're at choice, we can be fully creative and engaging with people on that level where you're getting the best out of them and they're getting the best out of you. Make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah. So whenever you are in that situation where you have to make a decision, and if it's more likely you're going to make it using that part of your brain that's not maybe the best for you, how can you begin to, I don't know, control it to make sure that you're choosing correctly?
So that's where the mental fitness exercises come in. And I like to call them presence exercises, being in the moment, being in
Mm-hmm.
the now. You had spoken about being authentic.
Yeah.
And so this is how to move from that survive reactive mode to that authentic thrive mode. So limbic system 3 to 5 times stronger. Let's go with 5 times. Isn't it neat that your one brain, though, can tap into 5 senses? What do I
Mm-hmm.
see? What do I hear, smell,
Yeah.
taste, and touch? So you got 5 on the one end, 5 on the other end. And if you tap into one or a multitude combination of your 5 senses by being
Mm-hmm.
intensely focused on one of those senses for 10 seconds or longer,
Mm.
your brain will show it with the fMRIs, will switch from that limbic system over to that prefrontal cortex, the right side of your brain. So the
Mm.
science is there. So it's using one or more of your 5 senses for 10 seconds or longer. To get mentally fit, you need to be doing that about 15 minutes or longer every day on a repeated basis. Consistency is key, just like in getting physically
Yeah.
fit. This is how you get mentally fit. And you work on that on a repeated basis, and you'll be able to show up, like you were saying, more authentic, more
Mhm.
creative, and have a truly creative conversation. So it's presence exercises, 10 seconds or longer, using one or more of your body senses.
So if I'm in a corporate or entrepreneur situation, innovation and creativity is so important. And a lot of times people today are so used to just having somebody tell them what to do, how to do it, that they don't really utilize that creative, innovative juices, if you will. Will these presence exercises aid in that situation to make you stand out in a crowd of so many others?
Indeed. In fact, on that right side of your brain and the prefrontal cortex, I call that your sage. So our limbic system will bring up a judge. Some might want to call it the ego, where it says, this is right, this is wrong, this is black, this is
Mhm.
white. It's judging something. And then it brings in one of your saboteurs. It's code for your personality. It says, hey, come here, look at
Mhm.
this. And then we put our spins on things. So not only is that guy wrong, he's wrong because blah, blah, blah. So we're making up a story. That's your judge and your saboteurs. On your healthier side is your sage. And the sage
Mhm.
perspective is, out of every circumstance or outcome, what I'm going through right now, what is the gift or opportunity?
Mhm.
See, they both become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you can't, like with public speaking, you think you can't, you're probably right. You can't
Yeah.
unless you work at it, engage with someone like you. And if
Mhm.
you think you can, you're much more likely to be successful in that. So we tap into that perspective, the sage perspective, and there's 5 sage powers. One of them, Vicki, is actually innovate.
Mm.
And in innovation, one of the power games in innovate is yes and.
Mhm.
So that would be, you're in that meeting and someone says, here's our problem. Let's brainstorm, right? We do this and let's
Yeah.
brainstorm. We have a we have a clear page here. Let's start writing
Yeah.
ideas on there. No idea is a bad idea, right? You know this. The people listen
Mhm.
to, and we throw out an idea. Everybody else in that room or in your brain needs to say, what I like about that idea is ABC and add DEF. So there's a great
Mhm.
example of using the yes and
Um,
to innovate.
that's so cool.
So there,
I I go back to my grandkids. I find that they're teaching me so many lessons now, and I'm sure I had the same thing with my kids. But whenever they're building something with Legos, they don't think about I can't. They just do it, and they figure it out until it gets done. And somehow between that age and when we
mhm,
get to school or high school, we start to get a behavior pattern that I can't, I won't,
mhm,
I shouldn't.
mhm.
Can in the schools for our children, what you teach, can it help our kids too to try to maybe circumvent that blockage that we will get and hit us in our 30s? Can we somehow help them now to be stronger, better in school?
That's a great lead in. And I know you didn't mean to do that, but Positive Intelligence, the group I work with about mental fitness, we're now endeavoring to actually get into schools to start giving this to college students, high school students, et cetera. Well, and one of the things I wanted to capitalize on that you just said. So I'm picturing the young kids playing Legos. Um, it's interesting. One of the sage powers is empathize.
Mhm.
And to empathize, we visualize the child. which is a way of saying put yourself in their shoes and
Yeah.
put yourself back in your shoes, to your point,
Mm,
Vicky, before
mm,
you had all these stories. You follow me?
mhm.
Because
Yeah.
the and it's when you go through positive intelligence, it's actually something we work on where you go back and find a picture before you had all those saboteurs and picture the innocence, and not only the innocence, the pure
Mhm.
creativity and
Yeah.
abundance of you before you had all that, and bring that back, because that you back then, met that me back then, knew one thing: the now.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm playing Legos and I am in pure sage creativity with these Legos. And look, mom, look, dad, what I made with
Mm.
these Legos. That is exactly what you're talking about when you say conversation, being authentic, bringing that to the corporate boardroom or just that conversation.
Mhm.
That's what we're looking for. See, we have mirror neurons in our brain. If
Yeah.
you show up with saboteur, my natural reaction, remember, will be you're saboteur, I'm saboteur. You want to fight? I'll fight. So you need to be,
Yeah.
all right, I'm showing up my sage. Now, your mirror neuron may pick up on, wow, they're not coming at me like that. Maybe I can rethink this. Just like we'll go back to the cops on the street. Instead of
Mhm.
being saboteur, that's going to sage and meet a sage. See, this
Mhm.
is just, I mean, you're nailing it. It's your brain is having its way with you, or if you
Yeah.
work at it, you can have your way with the brain. And I believe it
Mhm.
was Einstein says, creativity is when intelligence has fun. Have fun with the intelligence of
Yeah.
brain, and we can get to the next level. I mean, humans are the only species I know. I mean, I have Trevor, the best bulldog ever. He's my little dog, and we'll go walking tonight, and we'll look at the moon. I think it's like a half or quarter moon tonight. Trevor, he gets the idea of we are connected. He gets the idea of alpha male disappointment, but he doesn't say like, "Hey, Dad, uh, let's go to the moon." Like humans think of going to the moon. You follow me? Like we're
Yes.
called to be these creative species, but left to default, I'll have a dog brain like Trevor's brain.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we can innovate. We can do all this if we work at it by being
Yeah.
present.
And if you think about it, going back to kids, when you ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be Spider-Man. I want to be, and and then we tell them, well, but no, you can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of no's in life, right? There's a lot
Mm,
of what ifs. I try to pivot when I'm with my clients to move. What if is fine, but how about what is? What is
yeah.
happening right now? And again,
Yeah.
find the gift and up. See, life doesn't happen to us; it's happening for us. If you
Hmm.
think it's happening to you, that's your judge and saboteur. And
Yeah.
as my grandmom used to say, pour me, pour me, pour me a drink, right? It's,
I love your grandma.
yeah, good old Grandmom Gallagher. God bless her. Um, and there's a woman, by the way, who her husband died when my dad was 8. So here she is in Philly raising the 2 twins, my dad and my uncle, my Aunt Kitty, my Uncle Donald. And Vicky, I never heard her complain.
Yeah.
She had that sage mentality of it doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. And she was one that, kids, you can be whatever you are. With us, you can be whatever you are, but understand who you are
Mm,
to see what you can be. See, we tend to do the I'm going to be a fireman. Like in my family, it was cops. I'm going to be a cop. How about this? Here's what I bring to my table. Here's my authentic self. Then look at
mhm.
what could I do being that? Be a fireman, be a policeman, see, we do it backwards with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You follow me? So once you
Mm,
know who you are, your authentic self, which means I got to tap into that sage brain, it opens up a world of possibilities
mm,
of what I can be. And it also gives me
mhm.
the permission, Vicky, to pivot, to have iterations.
Yeah.
I was this, now I'm that. You follow?
Yeah, and that's so true. For me, I turned 65 this year, and in my, if you
That's a
go back to
lie.
what
You're lying.
it
No, I
is,
got to interject. You're lying. You don't look
no,
65.
thank you so much, but I am. So when I was 9 or 10, I thought I was going to be a teacher. And then life happened. I didn't go to college until I was 50 or 49. So I did what I had to do, not necessarily what I wanted to do, but what I had to
Mhm.
do, right? And that's probably kind of like your grandmother was, right? But when I stopped doing the thing that I didn't really necessarily want to do, I didn't say, oh, well, this is what I have to do for the rest of my life. I says, whenever I had that opportunity, when my husband was laid off from teaching and we had to move, all of a sudden it was like, okay, the world is my oyster. What do I want to do?
Mhm.
And and then I said that 2 other times, and now I'm, in this career in my next stage of life. But I think that's what people need to understand. And I really think that the younger people are getting that. When I started working in the 70s, it was you got a job and you retired from it after 30, 40 years. And then that was it. And it wasn't, later my younger brothers they had 3 or 4 careers before they even turned 30. It's like, whoa, that's a different way to do things. But, I think that's where we need to really understand what is our needs right now in the present. And
Yeah,
that's
and
where
if
you got to use that tool you have.
yeah, and let me capitalize on what you said. So the pearl comes from the irritation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So so again, not happening to you, happening for you. So somebody might say, "Okay, Timmy, so you telling me I got to get rid of my judge and saboteur?" That's not going to happen. They're the
Mm.
irritation,
Yeah.
but use them to create the pearl, that sage. See,
Mm-hmm.
you see that it's a very nuanced thing, but it's a total different energy. So instead of
Yeah.
the reacting, I'm now at choice. See, choice
Mm.
is a totally different energy. I say this often. My lovely bride is downstairs, Mary. I didn't decide to marry Mary. I chose to marry Mary. See, when
Mm-hmm.
we decide IDE, homicide, gentricide, we kill something off. It wasn't like, I'm not like she wins and no, it's not the best analogy, but like if we go out for ice
Yeah.
cream after this, like, okay, Timmy, I'm buying, what do you want? Butter pecan. Why? Just feeling it. See, it's coming from a different energy. But
Yeah.
look at how we go through the life with right, wrong, black, white, and there's
Yeah.
so much more nuance to it. But when the irritation is there, that person that comes up in your life that bugs you, they're a guru. They're a guru. They're teaching you something, right? And this is
Yes.
where coaching plays in,
Yeah.
and the whole mental fitness. So even my own internal voices, it's an invitation to find something new. The person that cuts me off, who knows, maybe their grandma is at the hospital and they want to get there. It's always
Yeah.
about the pivot to something better, because that puts you in the now. And again, I really liked what you're saying earlier. That brings you back to your authentic, true self. That's right brain, prefrontal
Mm.
cortex. That's good stuff. And that's how we get to the next level in life.
So good. Well, it has been, as I knew it would be, wonderful. If you love what Timmy has to say, then you definitely want to take advantage of the free gift he has for you and be able to get his VIP gift. And so, you want to explain what your free gift is?
Yeah, hopefully you guys got it. It is a little
The
summary
presence?
on
Hmm.
how to do some presence exercises. Uh, it'll give you some specifics, but it gives you that basic idea of how to use your body senses in the moment, 10 seconds or longer.
Mm,
And
super.
do we talk about the VIP gift?
Yes, please.
So yes, if you're a VIP, get in contact with me. LinkedIn's great. The website's great. And not one, not two, not three, but 4 pro bono sessions with me, just so
Awesome.
we can hear you out. because again,
Oh, super, super.
this is all about service. And
Oh,
if helping people like you're doing, Vicki, is how we make this a better world. So
yeah.
thank you, Vicki, and your team. This was very impressive. By the way, can we buy the soundtrack? I was in the green room listening to the soundtrack. The whole program's been great. Good job, team.
Thank you. Yeah, my tech hosts are fantastic. We'll thank
They
them
are.
again a little later. So if you have not upgraded to VIP, you guys, you got to do this. You can't let all this great information go to waste and not have this recording of this. But also they are being so generous with the VIP. So if you have not done it, it is worth every penny for you to upgrade to VIP. Thank you so much, Timmy. And we will be talking, I'm sure, in the future. Thanks so much.
Super. Thank you, Vicki. Thanks, everyone.